Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Okay, let's get into this. If you're tuned into the fitness world at all, you are just, you're buried in metrics.
Oh, constantly.
Heart rate zones, max reps, your fastest mile. But today, for our deep dive, we're looking at Alexandra Kash's work, longevity through physical activity, and it's asking us to do something different.
To throw out the stopwatch.
Exactly. To throw out the stopwatch and maybe pick up a microscope instead, we're going to explore strength that's built not from force, but from, deep alignment and control.
And Kash really presents this profound critique of how we tend to approach movement. Her core idea is that you simply cannot build longevity on chaos.
Chaos. Explain that.
Well, if your goal is always external, the burn, the sweat, the speed, you are, by definition, overlooking the most critical piece.
Which is the foundation.
The supported, aligned foundation. If that's shaky, any movement you build on top of it, no matter how fast or heavy, it's just going to lead to compensation. And eventually, breakdown.
That's the part that really grabs me. Why do we overlook that? It seems so counterintuitive, right? We obsess over the result, the big muscles, but we ignore the engineering that actually supports them.
And that neglect, that is precisely why we have to define what we're calling quiet power.
Quiet power. I like that.
It's a concept that just runs completely contrary to that whole culture of visible strain. It's not about speed or bulk. It's the deep, stabilizing control that changes how you move.
How you feel in your body.
How you feel, how your joints feel, and really how your body's going to handle aging. This kind of stability, it whispers where all that other exertion screams.
So, okay, let's dive into section 1 then, this whole philosophy of quiet power. It's defined by attention, not exhaustion.
Yes.
When Kash talks about the Pilates method, she's all about quality. She's demanding that you pay attention to how you move, not just how much.
That demand for attention is everything. Think of it this way. You could brute force your way through 100 push-ups with terrible form. Right?
Sure.
Using momentum, compensating. That's exhausting, but it doesn't demand any real control. This practice, however, it forces you to slow down to the speed of your weakest link.
You can't fake it.
You cannot fake control. The second you rush, the second your mind wanders, the form falls apart and the work just shifts right back to those big superficial muscles.
And that's what Kash calls the wobble factor, right?
Exactly.
This idea that if your foundational alignment, your spine, your pelvis, your shoulders, if any of that is chaotic, the movement just fails.
It fundamentally fails.
Yeah.
If those postural checkpoints are off, as she says, everything else wobbles. It's like trying to balance on one leg while you're scrolling on your phone.
Yeah. The second your foundation is gone, stability just collapses.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And we need to make this abstract idea of a foundation really concrete, which, leads us right into section 2, the postural checkpoints.
Okay.
These are the body's functional anchors. For anyone listening, these are the 3 main areas you need to train your brain to just check in with during any move.
Lifting groceries, anything.
Anything.
Okay, let's break them down. They sound a little technical, but they seem crucial.
Oh, they're everything. So first, the pelvis. The question to ask yourself is it neutral or imprinted?
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
Imagine you're lying on your back and you're trying to balance a cup of tea on your low belly.
Okay.
If the tea isn't spilling, your pelvis is probably neutral. It's level. If it tilts toward your face, you're tucked. If it tilts away, you're arching. That neutrality is the anchor for your entire low back.
So the goal isn't to just jam your back flat against the floor. That's a huge misunderstanding.
A huge one. No, you're supporting the natural curve. Then, next up is the shoulder girdle.
Stabilized or stressed?
Exactly. Most of us hold tension there, right?
Right.
We hunch our shoulders up to our ears. Stabilization means actively drawing them down and wide, letting the shoulder blades just rest on your back.
And without that, the arm muscles are just kind of floating on a weak base.
You're setting yourself up for injury. And finally, the cervical spine. The neck. Is it relaxed and long or is it compressed?
A tech neck.
The classic tech neck. We're always jutting our heads forward. Here, the goal is to lengthen the back of the neck, a little tuck of the chin, which aligns your head right over your spine. It can relieve so much tension.
So here's the payoff then. When you get those 3 checkpoints aligned, Kash says the body becomes a symphony of efficiency. What's happening mechanically there?
You're minimizing compensation. It's that simple. When your spine is supported by your deep core, your big moving muscles, your quads, your biceps, they can do their job without also having to do the job of stabilizing you.
which means less wear and tear on the joints.
Way less. Movement flows from your center, and you waste so much less energy on just unnecessary tension. You feel supported.
That brings us right to this idea of quality versus quantity. Kash is basically telling us that 5 minutes of intentional, controlled movement can be way better than a 30-minute disconnected workout.
Because control is the music, and speed is just noise.
I love that.
When you move fast, you're creating static. You can't hear the subtle instabilities. When you slow down, you're forced to listen, to feel which muscles are actually firing. And that's when you find the unseen muscles.
The ones that don't show up in a selfie.
Never. We're talking about the tiny, deep spinal extensors, the deep core, the transverse abdominis. These muscles demand conscious engagement. They don't just turn on when you lift something heavy. They're the scaffolding.
That internal framework, which is, that's the core of longevity, right? That's section 3. It seems like the big misconception is that strength is just about lifting a heavy thing one time.
Strength for performance versus strength for life.
Right. And true, lasting strength, the kind that lets you live independently into your 80s, that's built from the inside out.
It's all about training the nervous system. This isn't just a workout. It's a conversation between your brain and your muscles. You're teaching the spine how to move again, teaching the joints how to stabilize. You're recalibrating everything.
So if this strength is so quiet, so subtle, how do you know you're making progress? How do you avoid getting bogged down in just seeking this internal perfection?
That's a brilliant question, because progress isn't measured in pounds lifted. It's measured in ease of movement. You see the failure of an external focus everywhere in daily life.
Like what?
You could have really strong arms, but if your scapula, your shoulder anchor isn't stable, you can injure your rotator cuff just carrying groceries.
Wow.
Because the foundation gave out. Or you can run marathons and still have chronic back pain because your deep core is disengaged and your big hip flexors are just yanking your spine out of alignment.
So without that internal framework, the big muscles on the outside they're just decoration.
They look good, but they fail at the task of sustained function. And the bridge between the nervous system and the muscle, the thing that makes it all work, is the breath.
The rhythmic guide.
It's not an accessory. It's the engine. Every inhale should be creating space, and every exhale should be anchoring your control, deepening the core.
It's the tether that keeps your mind with your body. If you hold your breath or rush, you are guaranteed to miss that little tremor.
That's it.
That little shake that tells you the deep stabilizers are finally waking up. It's why Joseph Pilates said, above all, learn how to breathe correctly. It's the starting point for everything.
It truly is.
So we've got the philosophy, attention over exhaustion, control over speed. Let's move to section 4 and make this practical. The sources give us 3 foundational exercises, right?
Yes, and they require minimal or no equipment. The goal here isn't performance, it is purely practice. It is about building awareness.
Okay, let's start with the classic. Rolling like a ball, what's the focus here?
This is a masterclass in spinal control and deep core integration.
So how do you set it up, keeping all that alignment in mind?
You sit up tall, hug your knees into your chest, maybe holding lightly under your thighs. The key is to create and maintain a tight, rounded shape, like a ball. That position itself forces your core to turn on to stabilize your spine.
And the movement.
You inhale to prepare. Then you use a deep, controlled exhale to start the roll backward, only onto your upper back, not your neck. Then you use your inhale and that core power to roll back up.
And the feet stay off the floor?
Feet never touch the floor. The goal is smooth, rounded movement. The distance between your chest and knees should never change.
Right. The common mistake is using momentum. If you flop or you hear a thump, you've missed the point. You've lost the control.
Exactly. Okay, next up, the shoulder bridge prep. This is your gateway to pelvic control and waking up that entire posterior chain, your glutes, your hamstrings.
Okay, set it up for us.
Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, you press down into your heels and start to lift your hips, but, and this is key, you lift one vertebra at a time.
So you're peeling your spine off the floor.
You're peeling it off, starting from the tailbone, rolling up.
And that pause at the top is important, I'm guessing.
It's crucial. You pause just long enough to make sure it's your glutes and hamstrings doing the work, not your back. Then the descent is where you really show your control. Exhale and slowly roll back down, trying to place each bone down individually. like a string of pearls sinking into the mat.
The slowness is the work. The sources say if you feel a cramp in your hamstrings, that's actually a good thing.
It's a celebration. It means you're finally waking up muscles that have been dormant for years, letting your back do all the work. It's honest work.
Okay, finally, the one-leg circle. This one sounds simple, but I feel like it's a trap.
It is a beautiful trap. It targets two things at once: your hip mobility and, most importantly, your pelvic stability.
So it brings that wobble factor right to the forefront.
Immediately, which makes it a fantastic tool for awareness. You lie down, lift one leg straight up to the ceiling. The other leg, the one on the floor, has to stay completely anchored.
And then you just make slow circles with the leg in the air.
Yes, but here's the rule. The circle can only be as big as you can make it without your pelvis rocking side to side or your back arching off the floor.
So a tiny controlled circle is better than a big sloppy one.
Infinitely better. You do a few circles one way, then you reverse. The leg is moving, but the core's entire job is to keep the rest of the body perfectly still. If your pelvis is dancing, as Kash puts it, your core is still learning.
It's not a failure, it's just information.
It's data, pure gold. Because it tells you exactly where you need to bring more attention, and that's where the real transformation for longevity happens.
So this whole deep dive into Alexandra Kash's philosophy, it really invites us back to the absolute essentials.
It does. When your focus shifts from just external achievement to, internal organization, that mindful breath, that precise alignment movement starts being a struggle.
It becomes effortless and powerful.
And that internal framework, that becomes the true measure of your functional lifespan.
It's just a fundamental shift in perception, isn't it? We spend so much energy chasing speed and intensity, thinking that's strength, and these sources just guide us right back to attention, to stillness.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can carry this perspective into everything you do, whether you're at your desk or climbing stairs. Just check in.
Yeah.
So the final thought we want to leave you with, based on this principle that if speed is noise and control is music, is this. Where in your day and where in your current fitness routine can you slow down enough to find the stillness, to actually listen for that true, sustainable strength emerging from within?
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.